Hi, Becky.
Hey, John.
So how are you, just personally through this?
How? Thank you so much for asking. This is a hard time. It's hard to have this dangerous virus out there in our community and have such, a serious public health issue and such a big impact to our economy, our lives, our jobs, our companies, and all of our relationships. And it's hard not to get stressed about that and feel the anxiety of it. But now we're several weeks in, and I'm really trying to get fresh air, walk, and listen to music and find things that bring me joy, because there's nothing in me that is good when I'm depressed and stressed. And I know my colleagues and employees in my community needs me to have some good ideas right now. So trying to replenish and come up with some ways to be innovative.
So what have the impacts to the act been since, early mid-March?
Oh, well, in mid-March, pretty much every performer in the country started to lose their jobs. When the mandate was announced that there were restrictions on gatherings, that meant we couldn't start our season. Our performance style is to have people in seats seated next to each other, sharing armrests, and that actors interact with each other in rehearsal and on stage. And so we weren't able to deliver. So we had to cancel our shows. The first, second, and third shows in our season, whether they'll be postponed or not, is uncertain. But people stopped buying tickets right around that time as well, a few days in advance of the mandate, and that meant that our revenue stream wasn't coming in. And so we had to act really fast and put a lot of staff on layoff. Unfortunately, we just don't have the reserves to maintain staff without revenue coming in on our normal cash cycle. So unfortunately, over 50 people are on layoff, and that was probably the worst week of my life, having to put so many people just suddenly out of work. We're doing our best to maintain health benefits and to keep people on standby and to figure out when we're going to open up. But we're not alone. Every industry, but certainly in the arts and culture and science, and any business that is a business because people come to an attraction and to engage with each other. We're just at a standstill until we can figure out when to come back again.
And how are you adjusting, pivoting, thinking about the next couple of months as an owner of a big asset in downtown in the theater, and also manager of the act on the operating and performance side? Like, how are you thinking about the next couple of months now that you've made some decisions around layoffs and some financial decisions based on the economic realities?
Well, we have 15 people on staff right now who are working 25, 50, 75%, and we're focused on what's essential, and that means communicating to our patrons about what we know, being as transparent as possible, thinking about how we can deliver content online or through podcasts to stay engaged with folks. And we're modeling about 10 scenarios of what it looks like to come back. And, on Monday, I thought July might be possible. Now I'm thinking September is probably more likely. We're dealing with this level of uncertainty around what are the restrictions of gatherings going to be? Will that be phased out? And looking at all of the scientific reports and talking to advisors to get their sense of when is our best bet that we're going to actually be able to put something on stage and have people sitting next to each other in the theater. So looking at those models. And then with every crisis comes an opportunity, and we're trying not to waste this one. And we are looking at everything at ACT of, hey, let's build a theater company. We have the opportunity to rethink how we do everything and how we use our space, how we use the building. We've got this amazing corner at 7th and Union, 8-story building. We use most of it, but there's a lot of space we don't use. We're thinking about how we might be more accessible and inviting to the community. We're looking at all of our programs and just starting over, and that's exciting. That's, I think, the silver lining in all of this is that we're probably going to come out of this with some wild and wonderful ideas that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to think through otherwise.
Yeah, I love that optimism about the silver lining, if there is one, in all of this, and the innovation that everybody's sort of forced to embrace and create. Are you finding that there are federal and state and local resources available to support arts organizations like ACT, and are you looking toward them? Are you able to access them in a timely way?
I know there are a lot of people working very hard to try to find additional relief funds, and we're grateful for that. You know, the impact is huge for ACT alone. Just in the March through May period, it's a loss of revenue at $600,000 to $800,000. If this continues on over the course of the year, it could be a couple $1,000,000. I think there was a study done by Arts Fund, and there's a lot of surveys going on that show it's about $75 million impact to the industry. So it's a lot of money that needs to be generated in order for us to come back in any semblance of what we were before. King County for Culture, the city of Seattle, they have put together relief funds through an application process to try to distribute to all organizations and to cultural entities across the county and the city. Arts Fund is doing a special campaign right now, a drive to raise significant funds to distribute across all of their cultural partners. I know they're over $2 million today, which is great. And, we're really looking at any corporation, foundation, individual, government entity that can find additional funds. Now is the time to release those rainy day funds. And I know the economy is going through such a hard time right now. We're just asking people to do what they can to help us come out on the other side.
So speaking of that, how can people help arts organizations like ACT and others in the city right now? What do you want them to know?
Well, support if you can, and if that's by making a donation, that's a terrific way to help, but we understand everyone's circumstances are different right now, but we will need that support to get through to the other side. If you are holding a ticket to a show that got canceled, please just hold that ticket, hold it as a credit for a future show, or go ahead and donate it and get the tax deductible value. It's so much better to support organizations that way rather than asking for a refund, though we know everybody's situation is different, but that would be a huge help if everyone just held on to their tickets and know that they'll see a great show in the future. And otherwise, what we need, we need to know what the timeline's going to be, just like everybody. We want to be able to make some plans and make some decisions and tell people when they're going to get their jobs back, when they get to go back to work. So we're hoping that public officials, once we get to this side of flattening the curve, that they share the plan of what the phase of recovery looks like so we can all plan ahead. I think that will certainly help us and just about every industry and economy to be able to predict what 2020 looks like.
And where are you finding hope and optimism in all of this, just as a leader, with a lot of people looking to you to help make sense of that uncertainty? Where are you sort of finding your vision and your optimism and your hope?
Oh, it's through the people. It's through the people. The art we make is the mission, and I'm so excited about the shows we were doing in the season and the stories to tell and the themes we were going to be addressing, and that gives me tremendous energy. But in this time, we've got an incredible team and an incredible board and an incredible group of advisors, and we all connect digitally right now, and we still have a lot of staff connecting through Basecamp. And the people I work with, the people that it's just in ACT's DNA, people who want to help, and we're a family, and we want to bring people back to work, and we want to see our audiences again. And every day I'm inspired. We started our own food pantry for any artists or staff who were laid off, that they can, have access to the building and have access to come get food. And that pantry, is refilled every week. Our board, many donated gift cards to grocery stores for people that just needed that extra help. And that's just the kind of community we are. I'm really, really proud of them, and I can't wait to see everybody again.
Well, thanks for taking time to help us better understand the impact to the ACT and the arts community downtown. And thanks for your leadership in this really tough time and leading, one of the great art and cultural institutions and performance venues in our downtown through this storm. And I'm hopeful we're going to get to the other side and be stronger and be stronger for it. So really appreciate all that you're doing and taking time to talk with me today.
Thank you, John. Thanks for all you do. And we'll see you at a show soon. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely.